Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A beautiful Monday evening once again. Last week we spoke about the impact of youth leadership on the youth themselves. Do we have the right crop of leaders for as far as youth leadership is concerned? And we looked at it on the political aspect, and we found that truly there is a problem. As opposed to ideology-based kind of politics, policy-based kind of politics, we still going back into tribal demagogues and political sycophancy, even with the new crop of youth leadership. And that is truly a problem. But again, who should we blame? Should we blame the leaders or the youth themselves? Because at the end of the day, the youth or the leaders, they do come from us, the general society, the youth. So who should we hold responsible? That is one. The other thing we talked about is morally. How have we been morally from the day we didn't have youth in leadership, and now when we do have youth in leadership? How have we been? Have we gone up? Have we improved? Have we even deteriorated further? And truly, the case is, in the name of promotion of the youth, in the name, under the guise of creating employment and creating the space for the youth, our moral aspect has even gone down further. A truly sad state of affair. And because of time, we were not able to talk about the economic aspect of it. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us another opportunity right here tonight when we are going to talk about the economic aspect or the economic impact on youth leadership. And with me tonight in studio is one amazing, beautiful, amazing, brilliant mind, very young, energetic, Lulu Naima, all the way from Umma University where she is a student and an accountant by profession. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Tell us something about yourself, briefly about yourself.
As you've already introduced me, my name is Lulu, an accountant, a student, and for the first time I'm happy to be in NexGen. And I'm looking forward to actually empower the youth with more insights and more information. Yeah. Thank
you so much. And we are ready to receive the empowerment.
Thank you
so much. Next to her, he goes without introduction. You liked him. You demand for him. You want him more and more. We never get enough of him. The one and only, Sheikh Yusuf Morocco.
Assalamu alaikum.
Let's
walk the journey together.
Welcome, Sheikh Yusuf Morocco. And the man who we all remember by this phrase: if the good people keep quiet, then evil will continue. I hope I'm right by that. Yes, Abdul Hakim Kigen. Maybe you can remind us that phrase again.
They say that evil prevails when good men don't talk.
You got it. Evil prevails when good men don't talk. And he believes he is a good man. And that's why he's here to talk and share his idea with us. Right, going into it, let's talk about economist himself, Abdul Hakim Kigen. How can you describe Kenya's economy, the way we are standing right now?
First of all, before I go into the topic,
yes.
I want to register my appreciation for welcoming me for the second time in this lovely show. Right before I go into my sentiments of the economy,
yes,
I want us to get to one fact. We play too much politics in this country. You know, everything has been politicized, from our education sector to our security sector to where. And sadly, it has come to the economical sector.
Yes.
So where everybody thinks about the economy in a political manner, you know, and we from there, we stop looking at the facts and we start looking at our emotions.
Yes.
So I'd say currently in Kenya we have a problem. We have a problem, you see, because when you draw the graph of GDP against the debt of the Kenya right now. By the end of this year, which interestingly is
a month away.
Next month.
Yes.
Kenya's debt will be 60% of our GDP. You get that?
Yes.
And when you ask IMF and World Bank, they'll tell you for a developing nation like Kenya, we are supposed to be at 50 plus or minus 2, which 52 is the maximum. So trust me, we are ahead of our red line. You see, that's a problem. And I think the problem came in, you see, debt is not a bad thing. Trust me.
Yes.
Debt is not bad if you know how to repay it. If you have the capacity to repay it, trust me, it's not bad. It's good because you're going to scale up. You know, a country's economy is just like a business. You're going to scale up, okay? So the problem is we took some of the things in the loan that we didn't need, okay? That we didn't need as per now. It wasn't a priority.
Yes.
And then another thing, we took the money and we didn't use it for the right purpose. That is where I'm saying we have a problem.
Didn't use it for the right purpose. You didn't mind expounding on that?
We mismanaged it in the sense of corruption, which goes without saying. In Kenya, we have a big problem, and if we don't watch it, it's gonna doom us.
Interesting enough, before I bring in Sheikh Yusuf Maroka, listen to this fact. On September 13th, Kenya could be in trouble. That is, Kenya might find itself on a path financial to ruin. The International Monetary Fund, which is IMF, lock it out at 100 billion precautionary credit facility. Without a deal, Kenya could be in trouble, as this could signal to international investors that the country is in high risk of investor destination. That is in regards to our economy, just as he explained.
Which September is that?
2018.
Which is already passed.
Yes.
Yeah.
2018, 13 September 2018.
They were predicting, and we can see it is true.
Exactly. So international investors looking at Kenya as a place which is very risky when it comes to investment. Where does that leave the youth and employment?
It is very risky, as I'm telling. I want to believe that, if I'm not wrong, without even doing any analysis,
yes,
I can say maybe 8 or 7 out of 10 youth are unemployed, and all of these people are below 40 or even below 35 years. So it is risking, because the future of the country, as they normally say, any country are youth, but these youth don't have future. They don't have. There's nothing that we can say is protecting their future. Yes. And that's why Kenya is being now put in a very risky position in the world, because those who are youth don't have future. Those who are holding the country, they are still grabbing more. As my brother said, corruption. So it's like, I want to die with my wealth, but there's nothing that I can leave for my youth. So in other words, it's like 10 years from now, sorry to say that, 10 years from now, it's like every youth in Kenya will be paying debt. We will not be investing anymore. Whether you invest in Kenya or outside Kenya, it will be for someone else. As we've seen now, the God Papa country, China, is now almost taking everywhere.
Getting into every sector.
Yes,
I mean,
and repossessing whatever they find.
Oh my.
I'm afraid that even my father's land may be repossessed very soon.
Okay.
I don't
quite
know.
sad. Quite sad. Maybe Miss Lulu, you have something to add before I drop in another question.
Yes, I think just to agree on what he said on.
Yes.
I mean, the gap that the youth, the gap that is there between the youth who are unemployed and the actual age group that is in power or under employment is quite a huge gap. So the rate at which the youth are being employed in government offices, it's quite a low rate. So we see that the youth under 35 or 40, these are people who have the energy to work. That's why it brings down a productivity rate. It's low. So the economy tends to slow down on the progression. So as he said, his land may be given up to debt. I'm afraid that in 2 years or 3 years, I may be giving back to kids who will be already in debt.
Funny enough, Kenya's unemployment rate.
Before you get to the next question,
yes,
I have something that we should correct. We should correct, and it's becoming serious because it's now becoming the talk in town. This thing to do with China, I think when we personalize this issue, or we nationalize this issue that China, Chinese, when we personalize the issue, we lose the issue itself. Do you know that? It can't
How
be
so?
anybody else. It can't be
How else
anybody
can
else.
be the relation after?
It can't be anybody else who's doing this to us. Remember, the Britons 50 years ago did despicable things to us. You know, so let's not personalize these things. It's just like the issue of terrorism, where everybody is saying that now terrorism has been branded as Islam.
How best do you
So
think
let's not
this
personalize the
issue can
issues.
be addressed?
Let's tackle it, because trust me, China is not the problem. Them giving us the debt, it's not a problem, because at the end of the day, when they're telling us, when they're building the SGR for us, hawakutulazimisha. They didn't put a gun on our heads and
Sorry,
tell us we need the SGR. We did it. We took it on our own volition,
Yes.
even if it was not correct.
To take you back, if you allow me, what do you mean by personalizing the issue?
We are personalizing that, oh, China, Chinese. The problem is not China. Trust me, the problem is not China. The problem is us. China
By
is
us,
not the
do
problem.
you mean the
because
government,
there
the
is
country, or the citizens?
The government. The
So
government is the problem.
problem.
Yes, because a debt is never bad. As an economist in the making, a debt, there is no bad debt. As long as you use it well, and as long as you have the capacity to repay it. But saying, oh, Chinese are not the problem, trust me. It could be German money, it could be American money, but we would still misuse it. So
being the devil's
let's
advocate,
not blame them.
before advocating for the devil, just need to register the apologies of Mr. Ray Ochieng and Mr. Willie, who are both from the National Youth Council. They were supposed to be here, but they could not make it. I think if they were here, then those addresses would be put into perspective.
Okay.
But again, being the devil's advocate, we as the citizens of Kenya are personalizing this issue because we are seeing the effect it's bringing into us. The Chinese just came to construct the roads, but again, they are coming into taking each and every other sector.
I'm sorry, I think
of which it's really affecting the employment of the youth. Where does that leave us if the Chinese are even working into hawking?
I also have a feeling that my brother is trying to play somehow. You know, he's an economist.
Yes.
Therefore, he's trying to put China from the economic point of view. But I also feel like,
Yes.
when you create hunger, you'll make people slaves. And they will beg. They will come, crawling to you.
Yes.
So I think China created a situation where Kenya felt it's only China that we can go. And that is why the other day we were crying here, we don't want to give them simple jobs that we can do.
Yes.
But believe me, we can't even do those simple jobs. Even if
Who
it's
say
left
it?
for us.
We've been doing it.
I'm giving an example. We've been doing it, but shoddy work. Where I live right now, there is a road which is barely 300 meters.
It's not about the
Yes.
Chinese.
It has taken more than 6 months, 300 meters. 6 months.
We are the
Shall
problem.
we just look at the
Then we need those
loopholes?
Chinese. In fact, we should give them pieces of land here so that they can do some jobs for us.
It's not about the Chinese. We are the
Do you
problem,
guys think it's
Faisal. We are
killing
the
us
problem.
and they killing
No,
them?
this money
We are
could be German
complaining.
money, but we would still be misusing it. We'd still be taking it for reasons that are not supposed to be. You see? You understand my fact? And coming to unemployment, Faisal, I know we have a problem. Especially, I can tell you from experience, I wanted to start a food stand.
Yes.
At Jogo Road,
Yes.
as a side hustle. And the requirement that I needed by the government, just for the statutory requirements, I needed 5,000 shillings to pay to the county government. And I also needed to pay 3,000 shillings, which is monthly for liter, takataka.
Yes.
So that is 8,000 shillings before I start for statutory requirements.
Yes.
And trust me, starting a fooding stand, it requires barely 1,000 shillings to get 2 watermelons, a bunch of bananas, So I need, for 1,000, a statutory requirement is 8,000. It should be the opposite, you see? So we have a problem with the government there. Seriously, they should really rethink about issues like that, because they're crippling people like me who are serious about development. And another thing, I think Kenyan youths, they are lazy. They're not doing their job.
As you are going on this very short break, on this point, I'd like to bring in the World Bank's report in 2018 that ranked Kenya 80th in ease of doing business, which is an improvement from 113th from 2016 out of 190 countries. World Bank's report. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are going on a very extremely short commercial break. Don't you go away, because we are just getting started. Let's look at unemployment and what are the youth leaders doing to address those issues before looking into corruption in Kenya, and what the youth are doing to address the corruption. Don't you go away. This is the NexGen Show.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. I hope you threw away your remote, as my colleague brother Karagane Mamlele always say. I hope you threw it away and you did not find it until after the show has ended. Then you can go and look for your remote. Anyway, we are talking about the economic impact and looking at the youth leadership. What have they done for as far as this issue is concerned? And before we go into corruption, we were talking about the Chinese invasion in Africa. $60 billion thrown and divided across Africa. Do you think it's neocolonialism from these guys?
I don't think so, Faisal. Because you know what? We can be, as we are here, we are three. You know. So you have you have your business.
Why secluding me?
I seclude you for a purpose, my brother.
Yes.
You have your business and you
Yes.
want to scale it.
Yes.
You see? And you come to both of us, to the three of us.
Yes.
And you want a loan.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. Does it matter who you're borrowing with? We have the terms are the same, you know. The terms are the same, you know. Does it matter who you are borrowing from, or what really matters is how you're gonna use the money? What matters? What matters is not who is giving you the money. No.
I think both matters.
I need a constant.
Yes.
We need a constant here. You know, Islamically we borrow money interest free.
Yes.
So we have all constants. Yes. What is really the point that matters? The point that matters is how you use the money. You know, and that is where Kenya we are messing up, and why the conversation is messed up is because we have this crazy notion that the Chinese. I've told you, I've said more than once that it could be Jamaican money, it could be American money, it could be Dubai money, but if we use it badly, we use it badly.
I beg to differ with you.
Thank you, Lulu.
Yes, it can be a standard, but we have our own relations.
Okay.
I have my own interests. Yes, I can give you a loan, but I have my own interest. And in terms of relations, I might give you the loan, but instead you give me something in return. Either the power to walk freely, let's say, for example, walk freely on your land and do whatever I want. Okay. You know, you see. So regardless of the standard, I still have, it depends with the relation that I have with you and the interest.
Not mentioning you cannot bite a hand that feeds you, Sheikh. You can clearly agree with me.
Yeah, of course. And I want to go back to where you left, the World Bank and statistics.
Yes.
World Bank did statistics on who?
On Kenyans.
Which Kenyans? Probably 2-3 people who do
random
business.
Sampling.
Random.
Just there are different ways of doing your research.
That is World Bank on specific people who are online. Basically, if they could have come down here to youth, then this thing will be opposite. Maybe you could have been ranked 20 to 100.
Maybe they did, but again, it's only that they did not come to you and I.
We have a problem, and Kenyan economy may not grow. I'm sorry to say this. I feel bad when recently, 1994, we hosted Rwanda in Kenya, and they were really, they were suffering. I feel bad that right now Rwanda is better off than our country. Why? Do we want to face the pain so that we can learn from the pain? Is that the case? And I'm afraid that we are heading towards, we are not learning anymore, anything from Rwanda. So basically, economy in Kenya depends on youth, but youth are not given chance. Yesterday I was reading the Nairobi Act, tax, that is going to be, I hope they're not going to pass it, the Senate, I think it's the Senate, that they're going to sit. From Mama Mboga, I was reading across and I was laughing. Carrying matumbo, you have to pay, you have to be charged 50 shillings if it is like disposal. It's not nyamba. Kenyans, because of poverty, we're eating it as meat. But you have to pay 50 shillings when you are seen carrying matumbo because it is sakas. What do you call carcass?
Yes. I don't think it's carcass, but again, it's because the government is striving to repay the loan. Hence, the introduction of the 8% fuel tax levy, which the government expected to
you, it's not the government.
If you allow me.
Faisal,
we are going to pay it through our
I need to disagree
if you allow me. The government expected to whoop at least 71 billion Kenya shillings from the 16%.
Who spent that money? Who spent that money?
To repay back the loan.
Who spent that money?
Faisal, allow me
to
to just jump in a little bit. First and foremost, the World Bank is one of the most credible institutions in Kenya. So, my brother, forgive me for disagreeing with you. I know the guys who do fantastic job there, so I know they're doing a great job. And secondly, Rwanda is not doing better than us. Their growth rate has just been better than ours previously in the previous years. So with the projection, maybe they can be better than us. To come down to the facts, this is what I want to say.
Before you come back to your facts,
okay.
if Rwanda is growing at a rate of 10%, but just count from 1994 to now, if they're growing at that rate, give them 20 years.
That's what I'm saying.
They will overtake
with
us.
a projection, they will be better than us.
Borrow money from Rwanda.
But
not China.
Okay, Rwanda was not the deal there.
Yeah.
So you saw another thing that Kenyan youth are also not given a space to channel what they have, and so this is what I want to say, and I want to be on record, Faisal.
Yes.
That many people say that young men hawana nini, but me, I want to say from today, young men, we have exceptional young men and women who are doing fantastic things, great things, mashallah. But then on the other side, my friend, Kenyan youths are lazy. Guys are lazy. Guys are not working. We have a KCB Lions Den.
Yes.
You see, you can register in any KCB bank from Lodwar to Vanga, and they will take you before 5 investors, and you will present your idea there, and they will fund your idea. So platforms are there. Guys are not working hard, in all honesty.
Sorry to interrupt you on there, but in terms of the government trying to regain the debt, you see, you can't say the youth are lazy. To me, I think the youth are really trying their best.
I wasn't saying in terms of referring the debt. Let it be.
Okay, let me just make it
I
clear.
believe if there is a working nation in Africa, even in South Africa, and one of the top in the world, should be Kenya.
Yes, the problem is the government wants to even tax the savings of the youth. Now
true.
tell me, where would we go with that?
It is true. We have
then
a problem there, but then on the other end,
our
end, we have a problem too, because I think we are not pulling our socks up as we should.
I think the government is trying to dig too much to our
I want to
we are not. Yeah.
Both.
Kenyan youths are lazy. Trust me.
I differ.
Guys are just betting.
Right now.
Guys are betting, and they expect tomorrow that they'll be billionaires. You wake up at 10 a.m. and you think you're gonna be a millionaire.
Should I just let my money be taxed by the government every month?
I agree we have a problem there. I agree we have a problem there.
Exactly.
But on the other end, trust me, Kenyan youths are lazy.
I want to respect my economist here, because it depends on how he defines laziness. So there's nothing wrong about that. He could be right, or maybe he has done a research on a particular part in Kenya only, and he just said Kenyan youth are lazy.
Yes.
My brother, I hope you are not a youth, or you are entering into your youthness. Maybe you are entering into your youth.
No, it's not about me. It's not about me.
You will face the reality.
Don't personalize it. It's not about me.
Let me tell you, brother Faisal. If I was running a hotel 3 years back.
Yes.
I paid everything that I was required to pay, but every day I used to pay so-called kanjo, money that I don't know why I'm paying them. They come in, they check, everything is there, but I have to pay them something. If I don't do that, tomorrow my shop will be closed. The rate at which Kenyan youth are working, if we create a barrier right now, and we say we want to Kenyan youth to invest in a different bank, let us have a different way
separate exclusive bank for the youth alone.
Yes, see how youth are working in Kenya. I'm telling you, Kenya is one of them. I want to believe that Kenyan youth are working extraordinary. Look at the rate of, the problem was that the system of education did not explore this youth in his early stage. But youth are really, really working very hard. It's only that their money is still taken where it does not deserve. That's the problem. Youth are not given chance to spend their own money. There is nowhere to invest. That is my fear. But youth are really working very hard.
Which brings us on to the next point, which is more or less intertwined. Youth are working. We are a working nation. I believe youth are working. I've interacted with people. They engage in different economical activities. There is a research. I'm just trying to trace it back. But again, still, as I'm tracing it, which says the details are more or less only 20 to 24, the age group of 20 to 24, you can only get at least, I think 5 million Kenyans are the only ones which are not economically active, but the rest are very much economically active, with our unemployment rate of our working bracket from 18 to 64%, 18 to 64 age range standing at 11.47%.
Okay.
But again, all these efforts, all this money, where is it going to? The NYS, imagine all the hard work.
Faisal,
and then we have the corruption cases that are coming. And the suspects of some of these cases are being glorified outside here and are being imposed on us as leaders under the guise of watu wetu wanaonewa.
Allow me, Faisal, first and foremost. I want to be very clear.
Yes.
Know? We have young men and women, as I had said earlier, that are doing great work and exceptional. They are exceptional. And,
yes.
I love hustling people, and I love the hustling vibe, because that is where it's going to take us to the next level. It's not these crazy things, you see? So what happens is this. On the other side, we have a very crazy nation. And let me justify why I'm saying some of our youths are lazy and they shouldn't be at all costs. We have this notion that a $10,000 brain cannot do a $10 job. You see? Where I have a degree, I'm a graduate, I can't go and work in a certain, like for example, a waiter or a waitress, just so that at the end of the day, I get something to go down my throat. You see? So they stay that way and they don't want to do that job because a $10,000 job, a $10,000 brain cannot do a $10 job.
Where the side hustle comes in.
At the end of the day, that is what brings poverty. That beckons poverty. And when poverty comes, it comes with all its relatives. You understand? So this is what I'm telling people. Do your best. Don't just sit there, Don't just sit there, because we have people who sit there and they think things are just going to come from I don't know where. No, it's about effort, it's about hustling, it's about them. That's a hustling.
Thank you so much. These statistics were released by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. We are saying 19.5 million Kenyans are economically active in the age bracket that I just gave you. A research that was done in 2015. Brother, and then you're telling me youth are economically inactive.
Oh, there are people who are living just because they're not dead. Trust me.
I mean, the thing is, what's the rationale? That's the whole question. So what we're looking here is that corruption is the problem. To an extent, yes, there might be youth. In every group of people, there must be some few bad characters. In every group, there must be some few bad characters. But again, we judge a group by the greater majority, I suppose, right, Sheikh? Anyway, corruption in Kenya. I'm just going to read some of the statistics, because on November 1st, we were celebrating the African Youth Day, and some quite shocking revelations. Nearly 75 million people in sub-Saharan Africa alone, that is 2014, are estimated to have paid bribe. 75 million people. And in the lines of Mr. Jose Ugas, the chairman of Transparency International, because these statistics were given by Transparency International, he says corruption creates and increases poverty and exclusion, while corrupt individuals with political power enjoy a lavish life. Millions of Africans are clean water sanitation. If you allow me, Kenya Corruption Report put the judicial system being the highest in terms of corruption, bribery receiving, and that means generally translated to corruption. Police coming number 2, the public service coming number 3, land administration, tax administration, customs administration, public procurement, etc. This is what we are looking at. We are working, but the cash is not coming to us. We cannot account for billions of money that have been lost to corruption. Always here backing and backing and backing. Thank God we got the new director of public prosecution and the new director of criminal investigation. That my brother here and some people were thinking that we are just talking too much and flaunting so much about them. and they're not really working, as per se. Anyway, we're going to put the corruption in Kenya into perspective after this extremely very short commercial break. Don't go away.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Hello there, assalamu alaikum, welcome back. And this is the last and unfortunately the saddest segment of this show tonight, where we are talking about economic impact to the youth and corruption, of course. You cannot talk about economics in Africa and single out corruption or leave corruption out of it. Let's talk of corruption. Sheikh Yusuf, I'm going to start with you, because if we start with Abdul Hakim, I guess none of the guests will get time to speak.
No.
I'm just pulling your leg, brother.
He wants you
man.
to work.
Yes.
I think corruption is a monster. Corruption has become another HIV case in Kenya. Has become, I think, to me, if I rank corruption and cancer, I think corruption will be top.
I agree.
Corruption, and it is affecting all ages.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's like in Kenya, you are mentioning Director of Public Prosecution. I don't know why. Since 1956, Kenya established anti-corruption. Doing what? Is it using the term anti, but actually it is for it? Because we don't need to have a Director of Public Prosecutions if we have an anti-corruption
commission.
Whole of it since 1956. It goes through reforms. Corruption remains where it is, but the anti-office goes through reforms. So I think this is a big problem. Corruption is a big problem, and now it has become our daily bread. We do it even if we don't want. Sometimes you hear, normally I see my friends, matatu drivers and conductors, sometimes without nothing, they just have to pull 100 shillings, 200 shillings and give it to the policeman. Sometimes I ask them why. Say, if we don't do that, we'll not pass here next time. So it is common. I was once arrested for nothing, and I will never forgive that policeman. I have to be honest. I forgive people, but that one I will never.
Really?
Because I had done nothing. He just entered into my how can you enter a car while it is moving? It is not possible. I opened the door for him. I said I was driving well on my phone. And I asked him a very simple question. How did you enter it if I was driving? But he never went like that. He had to buy food for his family, I'm afraid, from my own pocket. I bought food for his family by force. So what I mean here is that corruption has become our daily bread, and I'm very much afraid of this, and I'm afraid that in Kenya it's like part of it. When you want to look for job, you have to set aside some coin for corruption. When you want to travel, you have to set aside some coins for corruption. When you want to marry, you have to set aside some
really?
corruption. It has become like without it, you'll not
I think
gain
that's
anything.
extreme. Sister Lulu, what do you think?
She will give us her experience.
I agree with him. Like corruption has become a disease in Kenya. It has taken a toll of, let's say, 3/4 of the country. And most of the government offices are not to be trusted. Most of our politicians are not trusted, because all they do is come tell us, oh, vote for me, and then after that, nothing. But quite contrary, some people say, I think you've established some of the changes that Mike Sonko has been doing around. So some youth in Nairobi actually believe in him, and
which some people do believe he's the worst choice Kenya has ever made, or Nairobians have ever made.
Contrary, yeah. So I think we need to come into conclusion and talk about the corruption and actually what the politicians are impacting back to the society, and how we can empower ourselves, rather than kungoja wakuje and we're just like, oh, we shall vote for you, and then they go like that and disappear.
What do you think is the main driving force and fueling this corruption to the level that it has gotten to?
I think we start corrupting our kids when they're young. Niende kwa duka na ama nitakupea, I'll give you a banana, you know, such kind of stuff.
So it's part and parcel of
yes,
us.
it's part and parcel of our lives, and we start doing it from a very young age. But I think at the end of it all, it has taken a toll on every Kenyan in this country. And I think we just need to come up with more solutions and be firm and practical solutions to it, and actually involve more people and the government so that we can try and remove this vice from our country so that we can benefit from it. Because from wherever we are seeing, honestly, I see a dead country, but there is hope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Abdul,
First and
you're
foremost,
burning. I love your big and your energy, man.
first and foremost about Mike Mbuvi,
Yes.
Sonko. I think it's too early. We just had elections last year.
Yes.
Maybe after 3 years we can start judging. Let's just sit tight. Let's sit tight and see.
From the ones on the streets and the interactions. That
Okay, back to this corruption issue.
Sorry to say, and for it not to be understood that it's coming from me, I did a street quiz episode where I even went on the streets and we were talking to maybe some of the Buddha riders. I mean, before I started asking them the question that took us there.
Yeah.
And those were their sentiments.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, if you went to Boda riders, you know they have a problem with the city county at the moment, so you are biased. Okay, coming back to corruption issue, I really agree with the sentiments of my sister and my friend here. We really have, it's a very crazy issue, and sometimes I sit and I think we are mad. You know, a chopping board goes for 20,000. Chopping board, 20,000. A biro goes for 8,000. This is what is being documented in the books of our county governments, and I just think we are mad. And you know,
maybe the documents
asked,
are not being accessible to the rest of the country.
No, it's not about accessibility. How we got to know of the information is courtesy of the Office of the Auditor General. That is where we knew about it. So thank God we have Dr. Uko is doing a fantastic job. And you asked what is fueling this crazy issue, you know. And trust me, it's nothing but greed. It is stupidly greed. Imagine, just greed. I want to have more.
Every man for himself.
I want to have more. That is it. I want to have more. Imagine, it's that stupid that I want to have more.
What's wrong with having more?
Oh, having more in an illegal way. Having more in an illegal way.
That's the problem, having more in an illegal way.
That is the problem. And this is what I want to talk especially to youths, you know. Trust me, you don't need to have 5 cars, you don't need to have 10 houses, it's not a must for your kids to be in Briband, these big schools. It's not a must. Who said it's a must?
But
Who
again,
said it's a must that I must put on a $10,000 suit? No, I can put on a 500 shilling suit and I'm still okay. Who said we must have all these things? Faisal?
I mean, with all due respect, that's how people earn respect in the society.
Yeah.
A sheikh who drives versus a sheikh who does not drive, who will be listened more, who will have much more,
Thank you very much, Brother Faisal. And that's why a sheikh who does not drive will have to force himself into a situation where he will have to drive. No matter which route he's going to take.
We don't need
that's
to.
the society we're living in.
We don't need to. We need to disconnect that kind of mentality. And I do it with my friends. I tell them it's not a must. Is it a requirement for entering Jannah? It's not. Is it a requirement? It is not. We need to disconnect such mentality.
Yes, Sheikh Yusuf.
Yes, the more you collect, the less you give. And that translates to a bigger number of people who are poor. The more you earn, the more you crave towards, the Quran talks about you want to earn until you go to your graves. You still want to earn. I saw some people nowadays being buried with the expenditure. They spend around millions sending a dead body into the soil.
Yes.
So because you crave for more, you forget others. And because one person having millions having one coin a day, and therefore you leave behind poverty.
Sister Lulu, let's talk solutions. What do you think can be done? Because it's clear that this is really affecting us, and as the youth, we are being denied and deprived of our tomorrow. So what can you do moving forward to address this?
First, I think as the youth, you should know your rights. actually be aware of your rights. In the Constitution of Kenya, you should read about it, know what is going on. In terms of local issues also, you should be aware in terms of the current affairs, whatever is happening in the government, whatever vacancies or whatever the leaders are doing, whatever the summits people are discussing, you should be aware of the local issues that are going on. And I also believe when we build and encourage youth organizations, I think that gives the youth a voice to actually speak out, and it gives them a platform to actually express themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Yes, Abdulhakim, go ahead.
So what I wanted to say in
Yes.
terms of how we should, how we will solve corruption, I think it's going to be a heavy price, and we should pay it as soon as possible, because corruption, it has riba, you know, it grows. So we should cure it as soon as possible, and we have to pay a heavy price, you know, because right now it's a flow, you know, it's like a river, it's a flow. Where matatus, they pay bribes every day, you know, everything happens. It's like a flow. Now disrupting the flow of the river, it takes a lot of action. And you know, we need to stand against corruption even from the simplest place where you sit from. If, for example, you're in a group of people and they are saying, I want us to tete a certain person so that we'll be given some money, what, say no. Even if it will be you alone, say no. Other people will also say no, you know. So we should start from our own basis, and we will fight a heavy price. It will be a heavy task, but we should start as soon as possible. Because trust me, saying that all the matatus saying that we are not going to pay bribes, it's not easy, you know, because they put you out of business. So it's a heavy price, but trust me, we should pay it as soon as possible.
I have a solution. It's a painful solution.
Yes.
We need to play divide and rule.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's the tactic. That's the tactic used in the system until it got us where we are.
Wait till you hear more.
We need to do that. I think we need to create a barrier between those already who are involved in big scandals, and especially the youth and old people. Let us nurture the youth. And I want to thank the KICD with Ministry of Education that now they are coming with the CBC curriculum where as early as high school, primary actually, learners are being trained to be early entrepreneurs. We've done that, I've done that, and I've seen like by the time this learner is graduating from Form 4, does not need even pocket money from his father, because he's already a young entrepreneur. So I think we need to create we need to let the old people travel on their own bus and start working with the youth. Because what I've seen from some young men and women in Kenya is that they have realized that their parents are not for them, and they've started working on their own. And sometimes they do a great job. Sometimes I feel very bad when I see the county askaris running, chasing these people who are selling
the hawkers.
The hawkers, we call them hawkers. I look at them, I
small scale traders.
Actually, this person lives in Mathare, 3,000 shillings house per month. He walks from town to Mathare, around 20 kilometers. He has to maybe sell 200 shillings a day. He has to buy food. He has a kid in school, but you are chasing him again. So why don't we create a chance for them? Let us agree, but it is not going to be possible, because I've seen already the act. We could have said if your business net is less than this amount, you will pay nothing. You will have to, when you enter this bracket, you start paying this amount.
Yeah.
But the problem is what my brother was saying, that the youth are not working. They are working, and the government is saying that from the youth is where we'll get more money. Small, but more. So we need to create divide and rule. We need to play divide and rule. Those people, they are dying by the way. Our grandfathers, they are millionaires. Some of them have big buildings they don't know what to do with. Let them die. Let youth take the country.
Which is a brilliant idea, but for a moment I feel it's going to be very challenging, because all the resources are up here. And the worst part is that the youth today, the way we are, the microwave generation, quote unquote, who want quick success, quick results, we are walking and sliding and fighting to enter into corruption.
Yeah, I agree with you, but if we put our mind, if we fix our mind...
Who is we?
Youth. If we fix our mind, we are not going to succeed. The world is 21st century.
Yes.
Everything is technological. Our forefathers were not in that field.
Yes.
We can say remain with your old way of living. Let us embark in technology.
As I said again, it's going to be very difficult because all the resources are up here. All the money. And I mean, as we said earlier, to earn respect, to earn a name, to earn a voice in the society today, you need to have a heavy wallet and a very deep pocket.
And I'm saying, and Faisal, we should start, and I think we should start with you.
Yes.
Start by disconnecting that mentality of somebody with money is now a great person. Trust me, money doesn't make you great.
I'm being the voice for the youth, and I'm talking what's happening on the ground, in the society. That is true.
And I am here advocating that we disconnect such things because money doesn't make you great. One of the greatest people that we have in this world, Nelson Mandela wasn't the richest person on this earth.
Yes.
He's one of the greatest people. Mahatma Gandhi was not. You understand?
Malcolm X.
Same as Malcolm X. So these people, they were not the richest people. So money doesn't make you great at the end of the day. It is your personality. It is your personality.
Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself.
He was not the richest.
Best to have ever existed.
Alhamdulillah. That is what I'm saying, Faisal. You know? So we should disconnect that funny idea, and I want to disagree with my brother. You know, I respect people with age so much. You know, that's why I appreciate so much when I sit around old people, you know, wazis and everything. Not because they are so wise. That is not the reason. It's because they have seen what I've not seen. So I think playing aside from our wazis is it is very tricky because, you know, they've seen what I've not seen.
Yes.
And they know what might be coming that I have not experienced.
One commitment that I need to get before we wrap up the show. Are we going to be ambassadors, all of us, of youth against corruption?
I am not going to be an ambassador. I am an ambassador.
I love that. Sister Lulu.
I believe change starts with me.
Yes.
So I'm more focused on starting with myself and sharing out to them.
Brilliant. Sheikh, are we likely to hear more khutbas on the members about corruption?
If the members are not going to be politicized, then we will hear. But if you have to read my khutbah first before I go up there, will not solve any problem.
Oh my, that's another can of worms that I wish not to open right now on the show when my director and producer Yasin Mwangala is nagging me to wrap up the show. A special appreciation and thanks to our new brothers on board at Horizon TV. We have Brother Sadiq, who has joined us. Actually, he's the one behind this camera, my camera. Brother Sadiq. Suleiman of Tumbo is on the other camera, the white camera. We have Brother Harare and we have Sister Fauzia. We have Brother Nasir. Thank you so much. And again, Yasin, thank you so much for making this show happen. I want to thank my panelists this evening, Sister Lulu, professional accountant. I mean, brilliant mind. I told you she is one brilliant mind. And I'm sure you've proven that for yourself as well. We're going to bring her back, inshallah, on the show. Your favorite, my favorite, our favorite, Sheikh Yusuf Maruka, the psychologist, the counselor, the sheikh, the teacher, and the list is just endless. It goes on and on. And again, the good man that we have on set, Brother Abdul Hakim Kigan. Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady, for joining us tonight. And thank you, our beloved viewer, for being with us for this all hour on Monday evening. See you next time, next week, same time. About the place, we'll see. I've been Faisal Kassim, your host. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.